Alright guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I start every single one of my classes to make sure that there are no speed bumps and everything runs smoothly. As you know, the two most important parts of a class are the beginning and the end. Let's go take a look.
Teaching online with Classin! Classin! Let's go!
So when we enter the class, the first thing we want to do is we want to turn off the camera and you want to turn off the microphone. So the reason we do this is because we're usually going into the class about 2 to 3 minutes before the class actually starts. During this time, I want to have enough time to set up all the material I'm going to be using and the blackboard and all the other tools. I don't want to be having a conversation with the students while I'm doing this. So I'd rather have my camera and microphone off, and then when the class begins, I turn all of that on. Okay, so the first tip I have for you is when you start your class, we always have this black background, right? The blackboard. I don't like this, and your student doesn't like it either. The best thing that we can do is change that, because that lets them know that they're not having another generic class with another generic teacher, right? Spice it up, give your class some flavor. So how do we do that? We can go here to settings. Once we click on the settings button, we can scroll down to classroom background. And here in classroom background, you have some standard ones that are given to you by Classin. And you can also upload your own. So I've created this background on Canva, and it's a lot more welcoming. The colors are lighter and it's a different look compared to what most students are used to. The next thing we do is, as soon as it's time for our class to start, what we do is we bring ourselves onto the blackboard, and then we'll bring our students down next to us. So they'll be here. You want their faces to be big on the screen, but not too big, just big enough. So just dragging down is perfect. The reason we do this is because from a psychological standpoint, if students can't see our eyes moving from side to side, and they can't see our wrinkles if we have any, I understand if you're blessed. But if they can't see these things, then there is a part of their brain that stops them from building a relationship with you. And that is the biggest part of the opening part of our class. If we're having a student for the first time, we need to be building a relationship with them. If there's no relationship, they probably won't take our class because they probably won't remember us. So relationship building is the foundation of your class at the very beginning. The second part is that we want to show them as much of our hands as possible in the very beginning, because what this lets them know, again, dealing with the caveman brain, if they can see your hand, this lets their brain know that you're a friend. You're not here to harm them. So our next tip has to do with our content that we're teaching. Once we've finished the welcome part of our class, where we ask them questions like, how are you? What did you do today? If it's your first time with them, saying things like, how old are you? What's your name? Once we've got past that first part, then we can start with our content that we'll be using for the class. So I'm just going to open any random content today. The mistake that a lot of teachers make is that they put themselves up here, and then they begin their class and they make their content as big as possible. This of course goes against the first tip that I gave you, that you always want to be bigger on the screen so that your student can see you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our settings and we're going to click on classroom layouts. Once we click on classroom layouts, you'll see that our class is set to no layouts. What we want to do is we want to choose between 3 split screen on the right or 3 split screen on the left. Personally, I prefer on the right. I'll tell you why in a second. So what this does is, if you click and drag yourself around on the screen and then you hold the shift button, now you'll see these little yellow blocks appear. And what we can do is we can snap ourselves into a block. This gives us the perfect dimension. Now the students can see our face. We'll snap the students in right underneath us, and then we can also open our content to that size. These are the perfect dimensions for having an online class. Whether you're using a laptop, an iPhone, an Android phone, a tablet, this is going to be the best. two reasons for this. First reason, like I mentioned before, your face is big enough for them to see your mouth move, your eyes. That's really important. A lot of parents complain about this. The second reason is that the content is best at this size. And this is if we're using PDFs or even if we're using PPTs. If we stretch a PPT, you see that it has these big black spaces on either side. It's just wasting space. However, if we put it here, now you can see the content stays the same size, but the PPT looks more uniform. Everything kind of looks like it's put into place. And the reason why I choose to have it on the right-hand side is because now I can reward students and I can get to my tools really quickly. However, if I'm on the other side, I have to go across the screen to get to my tools. All right, now let's get to probably what I think is the most important part of this video. So if we go up here and we go back to settings, this time we're going to go to general. And if we go down, we're going to see this over here, focus mode. You want to turn focus mode on for all of your classes. The reason for this is sometimes when you're having class, you'll notice that your students seem to be looking at something else. Like the screen might be flashing on their face, or they might be touching the iPad or the phone, and you might be thinking to yourself, what are they doing? What they've done is they've minimized you, they're just listening to you, and they're playing games. If we turn focus mode on, they can no longer do this. Now it locks them into the class and they have to be there. So the only distractions that they'll have are the toys or the things around them, and it's so much easier to pull their attention in. Right guys, if you found this video helpful, please drop me a like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.